And good morning. We've got a great show for you lined up today. I'm so looking forward to it. I can hardly stand it. Oh, geez. So we've got a great show, but understanding your vision alignment and how important it is to have your vision aligned with your core beliefs, your core strengths. That is so important for us all to understand. So sometimes we put those blinders on and make sure that we're focused on our vision. But other times we need to take the blinders off and see what else is out there and see what else we should be seeing, because we all have blind spots. We all have blindness in our lives. If we can understand that, we can go so much farther. Well, someone that knows about disabilities, knows about vision alignment and having all that, is our guest today. And without any further ado, I want to bring him on. His name is Mr. Wayne Messmer. And I am going to find you here, Wayne. There you are. How are you?
Look at that guy. Wow.
Oh, it's so good to have you on this morning, Wayne.
A thrill. I'm always happy to be anywhere, but particularly when it's someone who's plugged into the same juice of life that I am.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. So, Wayne, tell me, what is your first recollection of knowing your vision?
I would say probably about 7 years old when the kid next door was a guy that I really admired. He was in high school. He was an all-city baseball player. And he was a master accordionist. And we lived on the South Side. And, back in the day when the windows were open and he would play, and I would say, this guy is really good. And, I lived in a predominantly Polish neighborhood, and it was kind of the thing to play the accordion, and I thought, well, some people would make fun of it. And I thought, wait a minute, Tommy is about as cool as it gets, and he plays the accordion. I knew then that my path was going to be music that would take me to so many unbelievable opportunities in my life.
That's awesome.
So I begged for accordion lessons and I got them.
If you want to hear more, stay right there. Wayne, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we get into the meat of the interview, I want to encourage all the listeners that are out there to share this video out with as many people as you can think of, because sharing it out with making this community bigger, getting more people to listen and to ask questions, that will make it even better. So thank you for doing that. And as always, please put in your timeline a picture of you winking. And Wayne, we're going to get to that winking picture in a minute. But the picture of you winking is not so much about making fun of me. It's not about making fun of me. That's not it at all. It's about understanding what makes you unique. Because if I can understand what makes me unique, and it's not my eye, I wonder what makes you unique. So that's why it's so important for us all to have that understanding. So put a picture of in your timeline of you winking, and then put a hashtag of Brian with one eye and a hashtag of winking with Wagner. Yes, it's true. And then also tag me on it. That would be great. You're going to be entered into a raffle for a free copy of my book, a signed copy of my book. Sometimes it does take a brain surgeon. So having said all that, Wayne, thank you. I appreciate you coming in from Chicago.
Oh, all the way. Yeah, it was quite a journey for me to get here today. I had to walk down 12 steps. But sitting in my office working on a bunch of stuff, and I was so looking forward to today and this conversation. Number one, we need to break up our routine, break up our monotony. And the best way to do it, I think, is to interact with other people, and if you're not seeing them face to face, you certainly better jump on the Zoom or whatever the heck we're using nowadays. Here we're on a different format, but we can still communicate, and we certainly need to continue doing that. We miss touch. People, I think, underestimate the importance of a touch. And that's why in senior homes and those types of communities, those who care for the very elderly make a point of just, stopping by and just a physical touch. So that's, I think, what I miss more than anything else. I'm kind of a hugger type of guy. And, so here's a virtual hug.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's good. So, Wayne, if you would kind of take us back a little bit and tell us your story.
Well, grew up on the southwest side of Chicago, and kind of as I say with great respect, these, those, and them type of neighborhood. And a lot of the kids that I grew up with, hey, how you doing? I seen your sister yesterday. She's looking good. Those kind of guys. Constant reminders of how I did not want to speak when I grew up. So I became more articulate than the rest of the kids in my class for some reason, some crazy reason. And not from an egotistical standpoint, but I was fortunate that my voice turned into something worth listening to. And I think if you're given a God-given gift of a voice that can sing and speak, it certainly helps to develop your chops so that you can put complete sentences together. And so I was always shy and was not really not the kind of guy who wanted to get up in front of people. So it's weird. It is odd that my path would have taken me to being a keynote speaker, a presenter, a guy who performs in front of thousands and thousands of people as a performer, as a singer. But I think that's one of the areas where I'm able to help people, is to help bring them past that fear. We were all lousy speakers before we became good. Mm-hmm. And the old thing, the number one fear in America is public speaking. And I agree with that. And I know what it takes to do that. I know the mindset that I had to use and did use. Went through high school, performed in college, and performed in musicals and did all that fun stuff. And then decided I wanted to get into radio. I had done it in college, and I got a good break in Chicago, but still maintained the fact that I wanted to be see if this name means anything to you. Dr. Robert Hartley, better known as Bob Newhart.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's what I thought I was going to be. And ultimately, I kind of am, but with a master's degree in counseling and a PhD in psychology, and but I had a long detour in radio that took me to a different path. That exposure led me to an opportunity to go out and sing. before a hockey game, a ball game, and then probably about 5,000 times now. That's kind of created kind of a niche for me here. Oh, you're the guy who sings the anthem. Yeah, well, I know more than one song, but it's done okay. I sometimes say I feel guilty feeling making a career out of singing a song that I learned in first grade. Apparently, I paid more attention than the rest of the kids in class.
Yeah.
So, and that's been wonderful. Radio, I still do. I do a weekly jazz show on Sunday nights here in Chicago. Still have the opportunity when rooms are open. We do some work with a jazz trio, jazz quartet, big band, and we're finally starting to book some things again for summer.
Good.
So that's kind of what I do, and started a financial services company about 16 years ago. And 27 years ago, I was a founding partner of the Chicago Wolves hockey team of the American Hockey League. And so I don't know. I had to do a resume recently, and my wife Kathleen says, "This looks like a guy who can't keep a job." I say, "No, it's a guy who never gets rid of them."
Right.
I love to build things, watch it take off and fly, and then move on to the next project.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. The opening night of the Wolves, we're sitting there, and about halfway through the second period, I leaned over and I said, "Well, now what'll I do?" And oh my God, my wife almost did like a backflip by rolling her eyes. It's like, let's enjoy this one for a while. So 27 years later, we're still enjoying it.
Well, that's good. That's really good. So how did you end up singing for the Blackhawks and the Cubs? Well, there's a lot of questions there. You're a South Sider and you sing for the Cubs. That's strange.
I know. Well, I did start with the White Sox.
I
started with the Chicago Sting soccer team, and they had won 2 championships, so I was part of that. And that exposure led the White Sox to call me to do their stadium announcing and singing. So I did for 3 years and really enjoyed it. But then the opportunity for free agency came up, and I made the move to go to the Cubs beginning in the 1985 season.
Oh, wow.
So 37 years later, here we are.
Wow.
I know, the time she flies. And
yes.
I did all of the Bulls games of the finals during the Michael years.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Blackhawks every game for 13 years, including one of the craziest YouTube hits you're ever going to find is the 1991 NHL All-Star game, which was a day and a half after the Gulf War began. And that was as emotional a room as I have ever been in my life. So you can check that one out. NHL All-Star Game of 1991 at Chicago Stadium. And it was one of those moments where what you are gifted to do and what you are requested to do meet in the same intersection. And it doesn't always happen, as you're well aware. And when it does, you certainly better be living life with your eyes or eye open, because sometimes, and I love this phrase, sometimes you will never know the true value of a moment until it becomes a memory. You missed it.
Yeah.
Should have, could have, might have. Man, I wish I would have talked to this guy about such and such. Or you meet someone you admire, or someone that you in a midst of a conversation that you're highly impressed by just who they are. And then a week later, a year later, whenever in the future, you go, I was sitting there talking to this person. Man, why didn't I just listen?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am. I'm a constant learner. I believe when you stop learning, you stop living. So I always have projects. I have. I drive my wife crazy with this stuff. I have a drawer full of, as so many of us creative types do, but I have a drawer full of what I refer to as unfinished symphonies. But I think that's another thing. You don't know what hot is until you burn yourself. You don't know what joy is until you experience it. So I'm constantly looking for new input in my life. How can I serve better? That's where I am now.
Yeah. So in that regard, I mean, I know you have a financial services company. You have you sing. Obviously, you play in the band. What instrument do you play, or do you sing?
I'm just a singer. I mean, I do play piano. Yeah, I was a French horn player through college. College, but yeah, and I play piano every day. But singing is what I do.
Huh. Awesome. So tell me, wow, there's so many questions. I've just amazing. So tell me how. I'm not even sure what to ask now. So tell me about your blind spots. So that's one area where we all have our blind spots, and your wife may see those, but sometimes you need other people to see them as well, right?
Yeah, and I think that I'm very, very keenly aware that we don't know what it is that we don't know, and that's what keeps me curious.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I wish I could do that. Don't wish, try.
Yeah.
And or ask or find someone who is doing whatever it is. And it's not all about money. I mean, I hate to say that, but it truly isn't. And I think you follow your passion. And what is your passion, your purpose? And we can cliche each other to death, I'm sure, as speakers.
Mm-hmm.
But I try and impart what I refer to as the spirit of a champion. And it's an attitude, it's a philosophy, it's a lifestyle. It's one that I embrace all the time, and it's really fundamental about the tenets of what is it that makes up good leaders, good people. And I'm kind of on a mission right now to restore kindness.
Mm.
And, we can use an injection of that. But on the spirit of a champion, I focus on what I refer to as the championship cap. Easy to remember, and CAP is commitment, attitude, and perseverance.
Mm.
And those are the things that I drill down. And perseverance just landed on Mars. So,
yeah, commitment, attitude.
Commitment, attitude, and perseverance. I think those are the elements. I mean, I get into other stuff, passion and attitude, and aptitude and adaptability. I mean, you can find some good words to drill down, but I think those are the three right there. And then I use my own personal story, not to in speaking or presenting, and people don't care about your story as much as you think they do. You got to remember that. But what is it that I learned that I can impart to you about my own personal journey? What's the lesson to be learned? I mean, we all know people, they don't remember what you said, but they certainly remember how you made them feel.
Mm-hmm.
And as a speaker, I love the live performance. That's why this is fun, but I got to get back on the platform. Yeah. It's because I envision it as a one-man show.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody can do it. If you're not an entertainer, because my direction to myself is entertain, educate, inspire. But I think if you entertain, that's like people say. I remember one time after a huge conference, I had a couple, and I don't like reading the reviews just because you only remember the bad one.
Right.
But one of them said, I loved Wayne, great speaker, really laying it on. But he was weird. And I thought, okay, that's good. Because I like to live kind of in the world of weird, and look at things a little bit differently. And I thought, okay, I'll make something out of this. So I thought WEIRD, W, Wayne, E, entertaining, E, interesting, okay, R, real, relevant, and D, different. So if that's weird, I'm all in.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I can use that too, because Wayne and Wagner kind of.
There you go, man.
Both work.
Well, that's good. Welcome to the world of weird. Here we are.
And I would definitely represent myself as being weird, because
beautiful.
We're all different. We're all unique. So, we got some people on here today that I want to acknowledge and say hello to. So there's Cynthia Lay. She's on. Good morning this morning, Cynthia. Yes, Wayne is awesome.
Cynthia.
Yeah. And then I'm sorry, the name is Matilla. Maybe. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for joining. And then there she is again. Thank you. And then Rebecca. Good morning, Rebecca. That's so nice for you coming in.
This is ladies only today, Brian.
What's that?
Ladies only today.
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna change that up. So we've got Ted Legal in the house. So Ted's a good friend and a good friend of the show. So thanks for being on, Ted. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll continue to do what we do. So, and then we have Marco Aguilar. Very nice. Yeah, so he's dropping all kinds of great gems here. So thanks, Wayne. I appreciate you. There's so much to be thankful for every day. So how do you practice your gratitude in being thankful?
More than anything, I have come to a very firm grip with what my uniqueness is, or what my God-given gifts are. And I respect them. I share them and I use them as often as possible, because I like to point out that gifts are kind of interesting. As easily as you get them, they can be taken away.
Yeah.
So as both of us know, but I don't know. There's something so very rewarding about getting up with more resolve. The problem is that there is the precipitous event that must occur where you get knocked down in the first place.
Yeah.
But would you be who you are? Would I be who I am if it weren't for a few bumps in the road and hitting the guardrail along the way? Yeah. I just don't think so.
Yeah. In that regard, I mean, obviously, I have my issues, and everybody has issues. But I know you had a traumatic experience back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. So, and Marco says, coming in from Mexico City. Very nice.
Mexico DF. I love Mexico City. Yeah, unfortunate. And I can give you the 30-second capsulized version of this, but walking back to my parked car after singing a Blackhawks game, which I had done every game for 13 years, and parked on the street in Chicago, and I got to the car, and I saw a young man walking down the street toward me, kept my eye on him, got in the car, started up, backed out of the parking space and started to pull out. Never heard nor saw another young man, 15 years old, who ran up on me, banged on the window right next to my head, pow, pow, and then pulled a trigger, 9mm. Shot through the glass, right in the neck. To live through that is pretty impressive. Shot point blank with a 9mm. I drove a block and a half after that and got out of the car and walked back to where I just come from, knocked on the door, sat down, waited for the ambulance, the police. It's a moment that is, I can go back to it at any second, because I knew right then what I do for a living, what I had done for a living up to that point, may have just come to an abrupt end.
Yeah.
Singing, speaking, announcing, narrating, but who I am was not going to change. And I think that's why I encourage people absolutely to tap in to, well, my source of strength is a three-legged stool of faith, family, and friends. And it doesn't mean being flamboyant or boastful in any one of those. It means being focused, being open, being receptive, and receptive also to self-analysis and criticism if you have to, just to get better. So I think it's using the gifts. That's what gives me great joy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you got shot in the neck, and then you drive a block and a half, and then you sit and wait for an ambulance to come?
No, I knocked on the door where I just come from. It was a restaurant.
Oh.
And went back in, sat there, and thought, I don't know, man. I can't fix this myself. So I had to put my trust in the paramedics, whom I stay in contact with now, 20, 25, 26 years later.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember vividly just looking into the eyes of this one of the two paramedics, thinking, I need help, because this doesn't happen to me. It doesn't happen to people we know. This is stuff you see on the news at night, unfortunate situations. Reality sets in very harshly at a moment like that.
Weren't you bleeding all over the place?
Yeah, neck wounds are pretty juicy. Yeah. But, off I went to then Cook County Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
10-hour overnight surgery. The horrible moment of the phone ringing at home and Kathleen getting the phone call basically saying, pick out a dark suit. This doesn't look good,
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it was bad. And, they wound up doing the surgery and gashed. You can kind of, not to be gross, but,
Oh, yeah.
So, I picture myself, I've got a twisted sense of humor, world of weird. In the darkest moment.
Back to the weird comment.
Yeah. In the darkest moment, I thought, geez, I picture myself on the operating table looking like a Piz dispenser, But, thank God it wasn't my time. And when you do get well, I prayed hard, not just to get well, but to be better if I were to get well.
Mm-hmm.
And be a better person. I am in a life of do-over right now. I think when you're that close to the end, you get a greater sense of appreciation of nearly everything,
Mm-hmm.
including this.
Yeah, show that to me. What is that?
That would be your World Series ring from
baby.
the Chicago Cubs.
I love it. 2016.
That's it, baby. Now look at that, man.
After 108 years.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wear this when I do a live speaking or even live performing. I'll always use a handheld mic. Do you want to use a lavalier or a hand? Oh no, well, such and such and such. And then I'll motion once in a while. I'll hold the mic with my left hand to start doing some motion. You see the eyeballs following.
They have no idea what you're saying. But
no,
they see that ring.
It doesn't matter. And there's also how to enter a room while you're wearing this. And it's on. I always say if you're wearing a jacket, you kind of like this. You might want to fix your tie a little bit. You adjust your glasses, maybe one of these professor type things. Always keep it in the frame.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I'm so proud of this. It's great. I have 4 from the Chicago Wolves. We won 4 championships. I got 2 from the Chicago Sting. So it's a nice little jewelry collection. I look like I walk around like that.
That is incredible. I love that. That is so cool. My kids will be in awe because my kids were, well, 25, 23 now. But, 4 or 5 years ago when the Cubs were winning the World Series, they were still the age and they still appreciated it and they still loved the Cubs. So, even though we don't live in Chicago area anymore, we still love the Cubs. So
good.
It's cool. Very cool.
It'll be interesting. Well, Game 5 of the World Series was the pivotal game.
Yeah.
And I know you said you had when we were talking earlier before we came on, your neighbor who's an Indians fan.
Mm-hmm.
So that must have been delightful for him. But Game 5, we're down 3-1, and you go, it was a moment for me that put a ribbon around my life because in April of 94, when I was shot, and I was being taken down to an exam that was particularly bad. I mean, stuff up your nose and down your throat, and CAT scan, and I'm kind of like claustrophobic to begin with. Tracheotomy. It was my ugliest, darkest moment of my life. And I'm being wheeled down to this test, and I wanted to scream. I was so angry of what had happened to me, what had been stolen from me. And that's another thing that I talk about, is getting through the anger, wanting justice that is not ours to give out. And really anger to the point of just rage. So I needed to hold on to something. I needed a life preserver. And I grabbed 4 things. One, I said, no one is going to steal the opportunity for me to sing again with my wife. She and I met doing musical theater. We still sing together. She's wonderful. 2, I wanted the Chicago Wolves, which at that point had not yet even played a game. I wanted that to be a success because I'm a founding partner. I did the business plan, the marketing plan, the media plan, the game presentation plan, helped with oversee the design of the logo. I mean, my fingerprints were on everything. So that's number 2. 3, at some point I said, if I ever get a voice back, even if it's like an old gravelly old voice, I'm going to record a CD of songs that I like, even if I have to speak them instead of singing. And 4, now this proves that I was heavily medicated. Because in 94, I'm saying, first of all, if the voice comes back, thank you, I'd love to sing a World Series game with the Cubs. That's 94. Chances of that happening in 94 was 0.
Right.
Or close to 0.
Well, yeah, we moved. Yeah.
October 30th of 2016. This is so unbelievable. And it didn't hit me until after I sang at the ball game. We being Kathleen and I, singing robust musical stuff at a private birthday party luncheon. It was really nice with a wonderful pianist, good stuff. And then off we drove to our next event, which was a Chicago Wolves hockey game. And so I wanted that, it was like check mark number 1, sing again with Kathleen, go out to the Wolves game where we had 15,000 plus waiting for a game at 4:00. And I walked out on the same red carpet that I had years previous to come back. And because I wanted that to be a success. Look at this. I mean, check mark number 2, same day. Then we get back in the car and drive. And as we're driving to our next event, I had a CD in, which is called So Lucky to Be Loving You. And it's nice, romantic, yummy stuff. There's a great song on there called, there's many of them, but one called You Are Too Beautiful, written by Richard Rodgers and Lorenz Hart. It's romantic. And I leaned over and I said, I told Kathleen, I said, when I recorded this in the studio, this microphone here was you. I was singing this just to you. That's a good line, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But it was true. And so 3 things that in my darkest hour, I said, these are important to me. And where were we going? to park at Wrigley Field for an 8 p.m. World Series game where I walked out and then introduced and handed the mic to do God Bless America and the National Anthem, unaccompanied, naked in front of the world, fully healed, fully restored, and just enormously grateful. When that finished, I thought, I remembered that moment in the wheelchair being taken down for these tests to say, these are the 4 things that are going to keep me from imploding. Amazingly, I was able to do all 4 of them
in one day.
The same day.
Wow. And that was October 30th?
October 30th of 2016.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and the photo that I have of that is just, standing out in front of home plate with nothing at all around, all the attention right there. And I thought, seriously, if my time ended that night, I would have felt very fulfilled. So now everything is bonus for me. Everything. Yeah. Conversation.
Wow, that is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So tell me, how can we get your book? Or you have a book, right?
Yeah, a book called The Voice of Victory.
The Voice. Oops. Yeah.
The Voice of Victory, and it tells available on Amazon.
Is that a website as well? The Voice of Victory.
Yeah, it'll just directs you to Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really an interesting book from the standpoint of, I sat down and every keystroke was me. This wasn't as told to some other character, and it took me a while. And the thing is, it takes you through the healing. It takes you through the heartache. It takes you through the anger, diffusing the hatred of the situation and wanting, really wanting justice. And then, I had to come to some really tough realizations. The only antidote for revenge is forgiveness. Yeah. And that's in there as well, including a prison visit, one-on-one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is the guy still in jail?
No. The legal system and the justice system are not exactly spinning on the same axis. But I'm alive.
Yeah.
I can do what I love to do. It's time to move on it's time to move to the future, and you affect the future by really getting a grip of the present.
Can't do anything about the past.
No. It's like when I say sometimes the true value of a moment will never come out until it becomes a memory. What is it? What is it?
Yeah.
I think every morning when I wake up and drop my feet on the floor, or put my feet, I don't drop them. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm wondering, where will it happen today? You know what I mean? Where will it happen today? And what is it? It's a nice chat. It's an insight. It's a book. It's a song that triggers a memory. It's calling an old friend who really needed to hear from somebody, whatever it might be. Whether it's the random act of kindness, which I think is a wonderful phrase, but do it and don't brag about it.
Right. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I can't tell you how happy and proud I am of you and where you've come from, and happy to have had you on this show. I'm sure the listeners here have gotten loads and loads of information. I know I have gotten tons of information and good inspiration for me to continue to do what I'm doing. So I struggle with doing this show sometimes, making sure that we do these shows. It sometimes becomes a tangential thing, but it also becomes a distraction. But I don't think it is a distraction. I think having people like you on reminds me that I am doing this and bringing people like you into the fray of the show is what this is all about. So having these conversations is very, very important. So I thank you for being a part of it.
It's really been my pleasure. And I know we're both NSA guys, and you're incoming or president-elect, right, of Ohio.
Yeah,
that's a cool thing.
Yeah, it is cool.
Who knows? Maybe down the road, you send me over a invitation or come out and speak to the chapter.
That would be neat.
That would be fun.
I would love that.
Look at Cynthia. She's doing the work here.
You must know Cynthia, or is she just
Cynthia? Cynthia is a wonderful websites for speakers, and she right now is chiseling away and we need to do makeovers on our websites. And Cynthia's out in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, I love Albuquerque.
Me too, man. The balloon fiesta.
Oh yeah. My oldest son lived out there for 4 months, and I got to go see him once. Incredible.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. The Sandia Mountain. We could go on and on.
Yeah.
My sister lives out there, and my niece and nephew and their family and stuff.
There's another one that came on here. Matt Rainville. The only antidote for revenge is forgiveness. Awesome quote. Yeah. So he liked that too.
Yeah, Matt, be generous in using that, and believe me, I researched every possible way I can not have to forgive. I mean, it was that painful. But the final chapter in the book is called "A Journey of Faith," and it's a 3.5 hour ride that I took down to the prison. Unannounced, and sat and talked to the young fellow who was 16 at the time, who was the mastermind of this unfortunate event, because I needed to find out what was happening. What were you thinking? Why did you do this? Here's what this did to me, and look what it did to you. You're locked in prison here. And I really had to question, which is a whole nother discussion. I don't want to get too far away in it. But why was I there? I was asking myself. And I thought, because if there was one person who really had, I guess, maybe the right to be angry and dislike, even have a strong dislike for this individual, it would be me. Mm-hmm. I refused to house that kind of negativity anymore within me. I couldn't do it. I needed to let it go. And then I found out, the only antidote is forgiveness. So suck it up, get over yourself. And I'll tell you that, I say faith, family, friends, forgiveness leads to one beautiful place where we should live, and that is freedom.
On that note, I think we should call this end.
Fine.
So, thank you. That is the perfect way to end this talk. I love it. So family, friends, faith,
family, and
friends. It leads to and then forgiveness leads to freedom.
You got it, my friend.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate this. So, and as always, if there's anybody else online that is interested in asking any questions, you can ask them. If they come up afterwards, I'll make sure that I get them answered by Wayne. But thank you all for being here. And Wayne, I'm going to wave you off. I'm going to close this out, but I'm going to keep you in the green room. So stay there, and I'll be back in a little bit. But then I wanted to make sure that I let the rest of the audience know what we got coming up tomorrow and the next day.
Okay. Thanks. Right. Thanks for all the nice comments from you folks out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Wow. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So there's the information on Wayne's book. I mean, what a great guy. Geez. Yeah, that was great. So tomorrow we've got more good stuff coming up. We've got We've got Harriet Russell coming on to talk more about mindfulness. We have April Juke coming on. She's coming on at 11:30 to talk about to talk about disabilities and caregivers and disabilities. So that'll be great tomorrow. And then next week we've got some other great speakers coming on. So look forward to that. Look forward to all of this. I appreciate all of you being on here today. And as always, keep one eye on the road. Bye.